Alright, hi there YouTube, it's me Morphsuit America playing on the global version of Dragon Blaze. However, this video will be directed for both global and the Korean Dragon Blaze. It's how to spend your rubies, what you should spend your rubies on, and etc, and why you should spend your rubies on X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm going to make a separate video talking about how to get rubies, and it's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be released ASAP because I need to cover all of the important points and make sure I don't forget any other tips on how to get a lot of rubies. So wait for that video. It might be 3-part video or 2-part video. Depends on how much I have to cover. But anyways, as you can see, rubies are another source of currency you can use in-game. There's the shoes up here, there's the tickets, there's the gold, there's the rubies over here, and then the friend points. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of friend points and I have a lot of rubies. And no, I did not hack the game, I did not buy these rubies. I just played the game casually, do all of the daily stuff, make sure I do a bunch of arena, world bosses, try to get the highest score, and etc. You do all of this, the rubies will stack. You want to make sure that you play the game daily, or you do the daily stuff here and there, and make sure you do the world bosses. And, I mean, depending on where you're at and stuff, maybe you can sneak it in, but yeah, you know, just like leave the game on auto and it can complete most of the stuff for you. But once again, I'll save a separate video on how to get rubies later for both the Korean and global. There are some differences here and there when it comes to Korean and global, but it's still the same thing. So anyways, let me get started. Let me talk about what you should spend your rubies on, and the first point is the biggest thing that everyone's kind of doing. Alright, shoes. You want to buy shoes. You might be wondering why. Now here's the thing, with any grindy farming phone app game you might have played, using your shoes, using your energy consumption is very important because it will give you almost everything. Now I say almost everything. As you can see here, to go into these dungeons you will need to spend 2 shoes to do so. Now, as you can see here, you can look at the rewards for the dungeons, and there's a lot of stuff that can drop over here. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is, shoes will give you ally fodder. Shoes will give you essences you may need. Shoes will give you a bunch of gold, experience, gems, skill cards that you can combine into stronger skill cards, hopefully, with RNG, and etc. Alright, so if you also want to get shoes for free or by doing something, make sure you check the GM events or the special events located in your daily task or your schedule. As you can see here, till the 28th of August, you can use 20 shoes and you can get 40 shoes in return, so you can farm again. There's also a bunch of other deals down there. If you're wondering how much rubies you need to spend so you can get an X amount of shoes, you can find it over here in the shop icon. Go to the left hand shopkeeper, click on currency, and then you can see it right there. Now if you want to spend real life money, then you can do the first package, but I'll advise the second or third one. Most likely the third one if you're still new to the game and if you are if you don't have a lot of rubies. 40 rubies for 100 shoes. And then the other deal is 200 rubies for 500 shoes. I tend to mix between the two of them depending on how long I have to farm. And usually you want to farm when there's a bunch of buffs going on, because the more percentages, the more multipliers you have so you can get a higher drop rate for X, Y, and Z, the better, because, you know, RNG is not a good thing to deal with. And if you're wondering what RNG stands for, it's just a random... it's just a fancy way of saying it's randomly generated. I might do a special video kind of covering that, I don't know, for shits and giggles, so we'll see. But anyways, yeah, make sure you spend your rubies on shoes so you can farm, because Here's my explanation to why you want to do this. Now, alright, so here is my explanation to why you want to spend your rubies on shoes compared to buying the essences in themselves or doing a bunch of ally pulls. When it comes to the essences, you can see that just getting 10 of them costs 180 rubies. The shoes do not cost that much. To get 100 shoes, you only need to spend 40 rubies. To get 500, 200. So here's the thing. If you can buy at least 100 shoes just spending at least like 40 rubies... Actually, go back. Go back, you dang screen. Yeah, so you just spend 40 rubies to get 100 shoes. If you are able to, you can actually get all 10 of those hero essences with those 100 shoes. Now, depending on your RNG, depending on the drop rates, depending on X, Y, and Z, that might be possible. However, I think 200 shoes can actually get you your 10 hero essences. If you farm in the ideal location to farm for hero essences, and if you have the multipliers on. So yeah, just using a bunch of shoes can also give you a bunch of other stuff like ally fodder. You need allies to make double S allies, triple S allies, so you can get a bunch of stuff from there. Also, using your friend points will help you out, but once again, this video is directed more on how to get what to spend your rubies on. So yeah, shoes give you a ton of stuff, and you want to buy shoes when you're able to and just farm at the correct times. Once again, if you just want to farm non-stop and you don't care about the buffs, as long as you get something out of it, then go ahead and do that. If you have a shit ton of rubies and you don't mind farming non-stop as well, that's also ideal. So yeah, that's the biggest thing I want to emphasize on when it comes to what you should spend your rubies on. Now, to farm effectively, you will need the next thing that I'll mention right now. Right, so this kind of goes hand in hand with like inventory space as well, but you want to buy pets. These pets over here, you can auto run the entire game without even looking at it. All you need to do is make sure that you have a good inventory space, you have a good amount of shoes, and you have these pets. This will allow you to auto run the game without even looking at the screen. Most of the time, that's what I've been doing, just getting a bunch of shoes into my characters and then just leave the game as it is while I do something else. And yeah, it's really handy if you're really busy, or if you're not gonna actually pay attention to the game and whatnot, or if you need to go to work, or if you need to go to school, if you need to do some homework, just leave the game on auto run. But once again, you will actually need these pets to do so, because if you don't have these pets, you're gonna have to stop every time to look at your phone and like do all of the micromanagement, which is like clear out your inventory, combine the cards, get rid of some junk maybe, and etc, etc. You also want to clear up the inventory space. I think it costs 29 rubies to do so. Let me swap to a different character. And if you spend 29 rubies, you get to unlock the entire row. So you want to do that for maybe not all of your characters, but certain characters that you like maining. For example, the paladin characters up there along with the priest characters. So you may want to unlock their inventory space. And all you need to do is spend a couple of rubies here and there so you can do so. Now, if you're wondering how you can buy the pets, you can go to the shop icon, go all the way down to pets and items, and then you can see these pets. Now, the ones I'll emphasize on would be Thunder Fury, Komodo Wings, and Deadly Fire, because Deadly Fire will be the auto item combiner. So it's going to combine your gems, it's going to combine your cards, and I think it can combine your cards to dual U cards. It will not make triple U cards for you, so you may need to pay attention to your game if you have a bunch of dual U cards and you haven't upgraded them to triple U cards just yet, or if you plan to like get rid of some cards or something. Komodo Wings, it helps when it comes to auto item salvage. Let's say you don't want to have a bunch of D, E, C, BA ranking items in your inventory. You just want like double S or triple S items. You can tell the Komodo dragon to just dismantle all that junk, and you don't need to worry about it. It'll auto run it for you, or it'll auto do it for you, auto disassemble for you. And then Thunder Fury is the ally auto enhancer. So pretty much if you have a bunch of allies, let's say you get a bunch of C allies, B allies, A allies, you don't want to physically do it, this pet will allow you to do so. Now the Dark Fury is optional, especially if you want to do raids. Let's say you want to farm a good amount of raid essences so you can get better equipment, or you can try to get the right equipment with the right stats. Dark Fury is also advised, but if you're gonna emphasize a lot on your farming when it comes to dungeons only, or if you're trying to get essences and stuff, having these three are very important. Now, to get them for free, you need to do Tower Validation Buster Mode? Let me check it, actually. And yes, I haven't finished my Buster Mode just yet. I'll do it in a bit. But, let's see. Okay, it's laggy. Does it give me... Yeah. The Buster Mode for Tower Validation will give you pets. It will give you one of the 4 pets, depending on what stage you complete, and it's gonna last for a certain amount of days, so make sure you do that. I don't think Hero Mode can give you those pets. Oh, no, I'm stuck on Death Crown. God damn it. I hate Death Crown. Okay, come on. Actually, Hero Mode can also give you pets, so make sure you do that as well. Hero Mode is the... If you're new to the game, you got decent deified allies, you may want to do Hero Mode before you go to Buster Mode, because Buster Mode, you need a key or a Titan, a key or a Transcended ally to kind of push through most of the floors. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you want to get free pets, make sure you do that. But I'll emphasize on this. Make sure you kind of expand on your inventory space for certain characters, not all of your characters if you want to save your rubies, but certain ones, and also get the auto function pets, because they will allow you to auto run without looking at the game. Now the next few things I'll be talking about will be emphasizing on gear link and also your allies, because you want to make sure your allies are very, very strong so they can carry you, or they can just be a crucial part of your damage, or a crucial part of your team. Alright, so the next thing I'll talk about will be gear link and ally accessories, or ally accessory slots you want to unlock so you can kind of boost up your allies. Now, I would recommend relic slot, however, keys are becoming obsolete, and I mean, there are some keys that are still great, like Helios, Tier, Stigma, most of the DPS keys, because you still need keys to do raids. However, the reason why I say it's debatable to unlock the relic slot is, once again, we're getting a bunch of Transcended allies and we're emphasizing a lot on them. You may want to unlock the relic slot for main keys that you use for raids, or maybe on Helios, but yeah. If you guys got any comments about the relic slot thing, put it down in the comments below, but yeah. I'll emphasize on gear link and accessory slots. Now, when it comes to gear link, I already made a video talking about it long ago, so to put it in simple terms, it's a way to link an equipment to all of this other characters of the same class that are deified. So if you have a Awakened Belle Snow, she can also gear link her stuff to like an Awakened Way or Vante or your main mage character, and etc, etc. And to unlock a gear link slot, you will have to pay 490 rubies. It will not increase at every purchase, so it's going to be 490, 490, 490, etc, etc, etc. You will get one gear link slot for free, though. but I'll recommend buying a couple more here and there. I may need to buy a little bit more because I'm about to get some more allies in a bit. But yeah, make sure you kind of invest in some gear link slots unless you don't really want to do that and you rather farm for it, but that's on your call and on your time. Now, I'll talk about the accessory slots now, and the thing is, I'm gonna demonstrate using the deified Margaret. However, you may want to unlock the accessory slots on a transcended compared to a deified, to a certain extent. Now, here's the thing. I'll emphasize on this again. For global, we're transitioning from deified allies to transcended allies. Right now, we still have hero modes that will disappear in some time. They will merge the modes together where we only get guild battles, we only get arena, we only get nightmare mode, and we only get tower validation. There's not going to be a hero mode for tower validation and a buster mode. No, they're going to take that out completely. And when they do, tower validation will become a pain in the ass to go through because you need transcended allies. You need a full fucking team, and that thing is a bitch to go through. So yeah, pretty much this is on your call. The reason why I say this is because if you have been playing the game, let's say you've been playing the game for a couple months now, you should have already unlocked the accessory slots for your deified allies and you shouldn't worry about it. If you're still new to the game, I don't know if you should do this still. I mean, I think you should, but then when you transcend them, well, the thing is, it'll also give you some time too. It'll be a while before you can actually transcend a bunch of transcended allies, so I guess for new players, it's advised to do this, but if you're already playing the game, you should have already done this. So yeah, and make sure you do it for key allies, key deified allies that you use for hero modes, so yeah. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think when it comes to the accessory slots. I'm going to emphasize a lot on the transcended allies because I'm kind of up there and I kind of know what's going to happen here and there, but if you're still new to the game, I think it's still good to invest in unlocking accessory slots for your deified allies. And if you're wondering how much it costs, because I know I didn't show this, it's going to cost you 99 rubies to unlock one of them. And there's 2 of them that you have to unlock. You get one of them for free. So it's going to cost you a good, can I do quick math in my head? 198 rubies. Hopefully I did my math right. Yeah, it should be 198. But anyways, if you're wondering about the relic unlockment, you can only do this for a key, and once again, using my previous statements, I don't think it's good to do this, but I might be wrong. Just correct me in the comments. But because of the fact that we're going into transcended allies, you may not want to do this. To unlock a relic slot, it will cost 290 rubies. Now, there are some keys you want to emphasize on, and there's some keys you don't want to emphasize on. You don't want to do this for every one of your keys because some of them are getting off of the meta, and there's only a few keys that you want to emphasize on, like Tyr, for example, because a lot of people still use her in raids. Stigma's up there. Arnis, maybe. Helios is kind of... she'll get up there. Asker's good, decent support, and yeah, etc, etc. So, yeah. I'll let you guys decide on if you want to unlock the relic slot for that. So, what's my next point? I'm gonna figure out what else I'm gonna talk about soon. So I'm just gonna show that little quick picture of whatever the next point is. Alright, so it took me a while to figure this out, but I forgot to mention about the pots that can actually get you to a certain level where you can actually begin chapter 4 right off the bat if you're new to the game. There's also a bunch of other items I'll talk about, which are, well, it's not a bunch of other items, it's just a revival scrolls that can actually revive your keys and your transcended allies. So if you go over to the shop, click on the left hand side again, and go all the way down to items, you'll see, and scroll to the right, if this thing will allow me, you may want to get the special jar of growth or the normal jar of growth. Here's why. As you can see, using a good amount of rubies, you can skip to level 99. Now, the special jar of growth will also give you 5 SSS allies. Yeah, 5 SSS class tickets actually. And these class tickets are very handy if you're trying to go for a specific ally. Now, back then on the Korean Dragon Blaze blog, there was a guy that kind of talks about this method and tells you how to get like a bunch of keys when you start playing the game. Now, for the helper equipment, it depends on who you plan to use. So this is kind of a good deal for you if you're still new to the game. So you don't need to buy all of these helper equipments. You're gonna get like 5 SSS class tickets from this jar alone. You get to level 99 and you get a free equipment of whatever your character is. So if you use this on your healer character, for example, it's gonna give you the helper healer equipment. Now, when it comes to the normal jar of growth, you can buy this over and over again for all your characters. It's just gonna cost 550 rubies and to get a level up to 99. Now, when it comes to the other items you may want to get, make sure you get these revival scrolls or the revival orders. It's gonna cost you a couple rubies, it shouldn't hurt you that much. Do not get the cheap ones, because these do not revive your key or your transcended allies. These will revive your transcended allies, the actual revival scrolls that will cost you a good amount of rubies. Get those. You may want to get experience boosters, that's on your call. I don't go for these because I just like farm willy-nilly. So yeah, I think there was some other item I'll recommend. You could spend some rubies to get a triple skill card, but I'll advise against it. And if you're wondering if you should get a bunch of helper equipment, don't. Because you can get decent equipment, you go into chapter 3 and then slowly going into chapter 4. Alright, so this is actually optional. It's on your call if you want to get these costumes. But yeah, the next point is costumes. Now, to find the costumes, you go to the shop icon, and then instead of going to the left, you go to the right, and then you'll bring this up. Now, do not. I'll emphasize on this. I mean, if you guys want to ignore this, and if you want to buy the ally costume, then go ahead and do so. But, yeah, don't buy the ally costumes anymore. Here's why. Or, it's kind of fucking obvious if you already heard my previous statements. We're getting transcended allies. You cannot put their costumes on a transcended allies. It's not going to allow you to do so. And to get one of these costumes, it's going to cost 350 rubies. I mean, they look nice and all, don't get me wrong. It's just that since we're getting transcended allies, this does not carry over. This will be a waste of your rubies, so do not do that. Do not buy these. And apparently, if you notice, there's also 2 different tabs for the character and awakened character. You want to go for this one. But yeah, emphasizing on this, do not buy the ally costumes anymore. If you have like the bikini costumes from way back then you're very lucky because those are limited. Yeah, those are limited costumes you can never ever get again. But yeah, if you're also new to the game, do not get these 2 confused. Do not buy any of the character costumes because they will be awakened eventually. And what you want to do when it comes to awakened characters, you want to get the special season costumes. You could go for the secondary costumes or like the reskins of the default look, but I'll advise the seasonal costumes. Here's why. When it comes to the seasonal costumes, they can carry over to your transcended main character. Yes, if you don't know anything about the transcended main characters, they are the huge upgrade we get for our main characters in Chapter 5. And these costumes will carry over to them. If you do not like the default look for a certain Chapter 5 Transcended character, you can reskin them with your seasonal outfit. For example, my mage over there, she has this Deadly Nurse package, and I still like her look. And yes, it does cost a good amount of rubies, but you know, they give a good amount of stats as well. You can obviously what it has to offer by clicking on it and seeing what it can do. So yeah. And if you decide to buy this separately, it's gonna stack on you, so make sure you actually buy the package deal. Actually, no, it's still the same price. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so apparently, this is kind of off topic, but I realized that sorry about that, someone was telling me something. I realized that when it comes to global, they actually have the same price regardless of what you decide to do. So if you decide to mix and match some stuff, it's like... yeah, if you decide to mix and match some stuff, it's still gonna cost the same amount of rubies, so that's a good thing, I guess. So if you want to mix and match, then go ahead and do so. Like, if you don't like having this weapon costume instead, you can go with that one. And then if you want to go with the blonde nurse outfit, and then if you want to go for this one, it's still gonna cost 1,800 rubies, so... I guess that's a plus side I can give for global, but yeah. You want to get those seasonal costumes. If you want to get the reskin, then go ahead and do so, your rubies, but yeah. Those reskins will not carry over to the Transcendent main characters. The arena outfits... actually no, that's arena outfits. You use coins for that. I'll talk about that later. Alright, so now I'm on the Korean version of Dragon Blades. Know this. When it comes to Korea, Global will get all of these features eventually. It just depends on when we get them and stuff. And most likely, Global will always be behind when it comes to playing catch up with the Korean Dragon Blades. And the stuff that I'm going to go over for the Korean Dragon Blades will be added eventually. So, yeah, just keep this in mind. Now, if you don't want to spoil yourself and you actually want to be surprised or awed at the new features that may come into the Korean Dragon Blades, into the global Dragon Blades, and you don't want to spoil yourself with all of the new mechanics that Chapter 5 has to offer right now for the Korean Dragon Blades, then I advise you guys not to watch the rest of this video. Or go to the end of this video because I do something important. So, pretty much, when it comes to the Korean Dragon Blades, the same things can be used from the global Dragon Blades. For example, you can use your rubies to get the level up potion. You can use the rubies to unlock your accessory slots. You can use your rubies to actually get more characters in your account, and etc, etc. Now, I'm gonna get into the game and talk about all of the new mechanics. Once again, if you do not want to be spoiled with this stuff, or if you want to be new to this stuff and all of the new features and stuff, then don't watch this segment of the video. Just look in the description below, there will be a time skip to an important little clip where I actually spend a good amount of rubies. Now, when it comes to the Korean Dragon Blades, there are a few things that you want to spend your rubies on. Especially if you're new to the game, because if you're new to the game, you had to play catch up. Right now, we have Overlords. Overlords are very fucking expensive to maintain and to even get. And if you're wondering how much it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you a shit ton of Transcended Essences, Gold, and Triple S allies. I forgot the number right off the top of my head, but you need at least 160 of the same class Triple S allies to get from 0 to max status, 1,950 Transcended Essences, and a shit ton of gold. So, yeah, Overlords are important, and most likely we'll get a bunch of other Overlords later on when it comes to the storyline and when it comes to the Korean Dragon Blades, but not anytime soon. So, when it comes to the Korean Dragon Blades, you may want to spend your rubies on the daily dungeon. This is very important. Specifically, you want to spend the rubies on the referral system, the quest system, to level up your main character. You want to spend rubies on the rune system dungeon, or the rune daily dungeon. You want to spend rubies on Falcon's daily dungeon, where you can get you can get transcended pieces, or you can get transcended weapons. And then you want to spend rubies on the last dungeon, which will help you with your arc buster. So these 4 dungeons are very important, especially if you're new to the game. The other 3 are optional. The first one over here is Ally Dungeon. It drops a bunch of double S allies. You could do that if you want to, you know, quickly get a bunch of triple S allies, because they give a ton of double S allies. You could do the second dungeon. It's the gem dungeon, but I'll advise against it, because, you know, if you continue to farm and stuff, you can most likely combine your gems together, so you can actually get the triple S gems, and then hopefully get to U grade gems, and then the sun jewel gems. And then the Thursday dungeon, the 4th dungeon from the left, which is 1, 2, 3, this one right here, is the pig dungeon, where it drops a bunch, or a good amount of transcended essences. Now, if you just farm casually and you buy a bunch of shoes, you can get a lot more. Well, it's debatable, I guess. It depends on how you see it, and it depends on your RNG factor. So if you want to have a fixed number of transcended essences to drop, you could spend 150 rubies, or just do the free Thursday dungeon run, so you can get a couple, if I remember correctly, it drops maybe 9 transcended essences. But yeah, I think the 4 important daily dungeons you should spend your rubies on are I can't speak. The 4 important daily dungeons you want to do is the Ravengale one, the Rune System one, the Falcons, and the Arc Buster upgrade one. Alright, so there's something I forgot to mention when it comes to both the global and the Korean Dragon Blades, but when it comes to your main character, when it comes to getting those revive scrolls, make sure you also unlock the slots over here, so you can actually equip more revive scrolls on you. Because if you do if you decide to auto run raids, you want to make sure that you got a decent chance of auto reviving your allies. If you only have one item slot open, then you can only use 1 revival scroll, and then you had to wait for the cooldown. If you have all 3 of them unlocked, then you can actually have 3 times the chance to do a retry again, along with the fact that other people can also do the same thing. But yeah, you may want to unlock these 2 slots over here. It's going to cost you 99 rubies. This is kind of important to do if you're gonna, you know, raid a lot, and it's just gonna help out in the long run, especially if you start doing raids with your teams or your friends and stuff, so you can get that free auto retry without actually spending your tickets as much. Alright, so when it comes to the Korean Dragon Blades, and I know I haven't exactly talked about this little feature here, but there is a system here that can cost you a good amount of rubies, so you can actually carry out certain stats. Now, over in the Korean Dragon Blades, I don't think it's out in global yet, but I may be wrong about that. But there is a system where you can actually tamper with your equipment and get the specific stats you want. Most of the players in the Korean Dragon Blades have a bunch of red stats. If I go over to the Hall of Fame stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about. So give it a while. It's gonna take me a few seconds to actually get to someone. So let's go to this character, for example. So if I decide to check out their main character, they will have a bunch of red stats on their equipment. And they also got the 129 gear. Now, when it comes to raiding, or when it comes to farming and trying to get the equipment stats you want, you should know that getting a bunch of red stats like this is kind of impossible, especially when it comes to getting the specific stats you want, unless you're really fucking lucky. But I doubt you'll get all 4 red stats. how they did this is using one of the systems that I showed like a few minutes ago, but I don't know which one it is. I might do a video talking about that once it gets released over in the global Dragon Blaze, because I was late on talking about this system, and to be honest, I haven't really toyed around with the system because I've been constantly changing my gear, or I've been like lazy to actually be hardcore about the specific stats and stuff. But this is kind of important later on if you want to be high up there. But just know that there is an option to get all of these red stats, and it may require the rubies. Now, if you guys want to provide me the details and stuff, you can go ahead and put that in the description below, or no, excuse me. You can put that in the comments below and inform me, and also help out other fellow Dragon Blaze members. But yeah, that's one thing you want to kind of consider, and they have a shit ton of overlords. So let me get off of this screen and talk about the other things that I didn't mention but you may want to do. But this isn't really important, this is optional once again. But let's say that you don't want to make a lot of characters. So instead of making a bunch of characters, you could unlock another skill tree. However, this is going to cost a lot more than making another free character. As you can see, it's going to cost 450 rubies just to unlock another skill tree. So you can just, build a different... you can make a different build for the second skill tree compared to your first skill tree. And if you still don't know the abilities for the transcendent main characters and stuff, I already made a video back then talking about it. You can find that in the description below. But yeah. And if you're wondering what this 100 ruby thing costs down there, it's pretty much a reset. So if you need to, you do that. And this third page is talking about the beatdown system. Once you get your character to plus 15 to get the beatdown system. And getting to plus 15 increases your stats and blah 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 blah. I'm not going to go into details about that. Now, I think this will be the last thing I'll talk about, and if I miss anything important, you guys can definitely put that in the comments below. But when it comes to accessories, you can actually unlock the accessory slots for this. Now, I'm trying to figure out how to actually do this without... Actually, don't I need to put this over here, then I can unlock it? Oh wait, no, I had to go to the main character that actually has it, and then I click on this. Yeah, so as you can see, you can actually put gems on your accessories now. All you have to do is go over here, click on that, and then you unlock it like that, and then it's gonna cost you 99 rubies, so it's gonna cost... This isn't the exact number, but it's gonna cost maybe around 300 rubies, or a little bit more because it's... Wait, no. It's roughly around 300 rubies, let's go with that. But yeah, you can actually put gems on your accessories later on. Now, Global still doesn't have this feature, but they will add it eventually. And you may want to spend your rubies just to do this. And this one may be a must compared to an optional thing. So yeah. I think that's pretty much it for the Korean Dragon Blaze stuff. Essentially, the biggest thing you want to do over here is the daily dungeon. And also unlocking the gem slots for your accessories. Other than that, I don't know what else you can spend your rubies on, unless you want to get the red stats or the specific stats you want. Then you may also want to spend rubies on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Korean Dragon Blaze. Once again, if I forget to tell you guys something important when it comes to what you should spend your rubies on that can actually benefit you in the long run, then go ahead and tell me in the comments below. But let's conclude this video. Alright, so that concludes this video. I'm just gonna say that if you want to spend your rubies on something I never mentioned and it's gonna help you in the long run, and it's gonna help you in the game, then go ahead and do that. It's your damn rubies. You could just shove my advice off to the side and say YOLO. I don't mind. I'm just giving you guys information on what you should actually spend your rubies on so you can actually get a good deal out of this game, because most of the top players would actually buy a bunch of shoes compared to like buying the transcended essences in the shop, or like they unlock the accessory slots, they unlock the item scroll slots so they can do more revives during raids. They unlock more characters so they can get more rubies and just have an option. They can have more. They have options to do different modes with different main characters and stuff, and etc, etc. So what I'm gonna do for the end of this video is make Ultimate Transcendent Margaret, and I will be spending a good chunk of my rubies. Now, if you remember, like, I don't know, a couple episodes ago on my global account, I had more rubies than 32,844. I had, my highest, if I remember correctly, is like 54,000 something. Now, I got that much rubies by farming in the game. You just continue playing the game and you just hoard the hell out of them. However, in my opinion, I shouldn't hoard that many rubies because I need to progress in the game. If the rubies just sit there and just look pretty, I'm not gonna get that far. Now, of course, I've been spending rubies here and there so I can get the pets, so I can auto farm, and I've been spending a lot of my rubies on shoes, but that didn't really put a huge dent on my ruby spending. Now, I kind of missed the chance to get the costumes for Halloween, even though it's like October right now, and they should have the damn costumes out, but no, Global decides to take them out, and I'm kind of mad about that. They also released a Halloween costume in like, what, August? September? So I was like questioning that, and then I was like, I'm gonna get them later, then I procrastinated, and now they're gone. So I'm kind of mad about that. And if you're wondering why I actually want these costumes, it's because you can actually carry the costumes over to your transcended main character. When it comes to the different color variations of whatever the default looks like, so let's say you decide to buy one of the costumes. Let's say you decide to buy these two outfits right here. This will now carry over to your transcended main character. The special outfits, the summer outfit, winter outfit, and the Halloween outfit, they will carry over to your main transcended character. The arena costumes will also do the same thing, sort of. Yeah, actually, the arena costumes will carry over, and then the Hall of Fame costumes as well. Except I think they will tamper around with the Hall of Fame costumes so it can fit with the transcended main looks. But yeah. Anyways, I can't spend my rubies on the costumes, so I'm gonna be making, once again, Transcended Ultimate Margaret. Now, if you've been following me in my Korean Dragon Blaze series ever since the beginning of, I don't know, whenever I started playing both Global and the Korean Dragon Blaze again, you would know that Margaret was my first ultimate transcended ally. Now, the reason why I wanted her ultimate is because of her ultimate ability, which is to summon two transcended allies at the same time. Two transcended Bodens. Now, Belle Snow has an ability like that over in the Korean Dragon Blaze, but you actually have to get it as her arc status, and she doesn't exactly summon them both at the same time. It's like she summons one and then she'll summon another one later, but if you have the cooldowns, you could summon two transcended ally at the same time for a few seconds. But it's not like Margaret where she can summon two allies right there and then. The other thing is, compared to Margaret or Ravengale, Margaret is the better option, even though if you decide to ultimate Ravengale, she will have technically 3 summons, so she'll have 2 red Izarks and 1 blue Izarks. The issue with this is they're Izarks. They're not going to give you a lot of abilities, they're going to have the same stuff, and Ravengale's the one providing the buffs and stuff. When it comes to Margaret, she will summon 2 Transcended Bodens. So anyone in the Boden roster will be summoned. Shadow Howl, Manalandi, Falcon, Stormbearer, Arrow Trigger. So any one of those 2. And that provides a lot of utility. It gives a diverse roster compared to just having Izark. So if you're debating on which Enchanted to go for in the Global Dragon Blades, Margaret is the best option for now. Later on, Belle will be a competition against Margaret, but Margaret will still have the DPS until after Chapter 5 nerf. Once the Chapter 5 nerf kicks in, then Belle Snow will actually kind of have a lead over Margaret, but then when Arc ability comes, yeah. Margaret and Belle Snow are kind of up there, and then Ravengale somehow got back up on the scale as well. I'll do a review talking about these Transcended Allies. It's just that I've been procrastinating, I guess, or I've been busy and putting it off to the side. So, enough of me talking and stuff. Let me wrap up this video. So, I'm gonna end my commentary here. The rest of this footage is just me buying the Transcended Essences and getting the little bonus that they're doing right now with this special event, which is like if you decide to buy 50 Transcended Essences, you get 5 Transcended Essences for every pack. So yeah, this is gonna help me out because I may be able to ultimate a couple more Transcended allies, or just like get Falcon at max status. It's gonna eat up a lot of triple S allies, so keep that in mind. So yeah, let's get started. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, if I left something important out that you should spend your rubies on, put it in the comments below. Or if you just want to say something that I didn't talk about or mention that you may want to consider when it comes to spending your rubies on X, Y, and Z, then yeah, put it down in the comments. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys around. Peace!